Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a KV-3, it's a Tier 7 Soviet heavy tank. It's located on the north spawn of Mountain Pass and it's under the commands of Brit on the NA, God Bless USA of REBRN. And alongside him is an AT-15A commanded by Tuddin, also of REBRN. Okay, game started. Well, the KV-3, it's basically an upgraded KV-1 hull with a slightly bigger gun, in fact a choice of guns. In fact, in this occasion, Brit is actually carrying the 122mm D25T, I think it is. And, well, that's got 390 alpha with penetration of 175mm of armour. And he's not carrying any premium ammo whatsoever. Whilst AT-15A of Tuddin is basically a 17-pounder gun on a hull that eventually became the ancestor of the Tortoise. Now, the KV-3, it was originally came out of the T150. It was designed to actually improve the KVs, but unfortunately what happened was that because the war broke out whilst they were still developing the tank, they actually took the hull and they used it as a real tank in battle. So the prototype was never heard of again, because although the other prototype, which was the other two prototypes I should say, were KV-220s, and they were destroyed in action, but the KV-3, they never saw it. In fact, actually, it did go to war with the turret of a KV-1, 76mm gun, but they don't know where it ended up. So it might have been destroyed, it's more than likely it was, but this particular design with the rounded turret is what they were aiming for. They weren't going to have the 122mm gun. In fact, actually, they didn't envisage that, but what they did envisage was either using the 107mm ZIL 6 or to use the 100mm gun instead. And if you're actually researching this tank, Wargaming recommends you actually use either the ZIL, which is of course a gun that comes out of the T150, or to actually go for the 122mm, which actually has decent alpha damage and decent penetration as well, but it does suffer a drawback. It's quite a long reload. Oh, that Tiger managed to sneak up on us, and he did put a round into us, an 88mm round for 220, but we're reloading. It's quite a long reload, it's about 12 seconds if I remember correctly. And well, he was turning around to have a look and see what was going on, but didn't use his right hand mouse key, and that turned the turret as he did so. It's a very slow rotation of the turret, and he fired around, but he didn't get it into any of the enemies. In fact, he's got quite a few of them in front of him, including that Striv, the Tiger, and he puts a round into that P44 Pantera. Now, it's quite a strong turret, so long as, and a strong hull if you angle correctly. So that's the thing you need to do, angle. And he's lost half his hit points already. Okay, fires one into the 45 TP, loses another 276 hit points. He's fighting against a lot of enemy tanks on this corner. It's a very difficult job to do this, and he's waiting for the first of them, which is actually going to be bold enough to pull forward and take the round. Well, there goes the Tiger, taken out by Tuddin, funnily enough, who's actually behind him. Yep, he's just further up the road, and that means now he's only got the 45 TP to face off against. And Arty's targeting the 45 TP. As you see those roundels appear on the ground, means pull back just a little bit. Arty's going to hit that spot any second, and if you're too close, you'll get stunned. Okay, the Arty's a Hummel, and there you go, he got hit, and now he's been badly damaged. And now he's out of the game. Beautifully played. That's what you need to do. Cooperation between Arty and Heavy Tank. And you damage the enemy, stun them, pull out, destroy them, and that's another opponent down. Well, we've got the Striv now. Just checking turns behind him. Don't hold down your right hand mouse key to actually stop you turning your turret, because the moment your turret turns, the enemy knows that you actually are not holding the right hand mouse button down. And now he's taking rounds from that 42-57 with the 75mm gun, I think it is, but now he's out the game. He lost 320 hit points. He's now down to just 156. But all the enemies who are around that corner are now dead. Now he's got to worry about a P-44 Pantera and a Cromwell who are behind Tuddin. And I think he's actually wondering, should he actually go back to Tuddin? Well, Tuddin's killed the Cromwell. And he's holding this corner. He's going to wait here. Tuddin's stopping that Pantera from coming up. The Hummel's actually targeting the Pantera as well from on top of the heights. Not very good for the Hummel if he gets spotted, because there are enemy Arty in the game, 3 of them. And, well, that Hummel might not survive very long if he gets spotted. I get the feeling that Brit is now considering relocating back towards Tuddin to help him. He's holding the right hand mouse button down now to ensure that he can get the keep the turret in the right direction. Tuddin killed the P-44 Pantera, so he's now got 3 kills, and Brit has only got 2. So if he wants to get brothers in arms, he's going to have to kill another enemy tank. Now, a little more about the KV-3. Well, it wasn't put into production. Because the war started, they needed heavy tanks as quickly as they could. And in fact, actually, the tank that the Germans feared the most was, in fact, the KV, not the T-34, which they could knock out fairly easily, even though it had the sloped armour. The T-34 could be knocked out, and it had a fairly weak gun. But the KV tanks, they were actually as tough as old boots. And if they angled correctly, the German shells would just bounce off them. And so they had a lot of problems with the KVs. And so the Soviets put the KVs into production, but a development that came out of the research work they did on the KV-3 ended up with the IS series of tanks. So the IS came from the KV-3. Lovely shot on the Wizzy 131 GFT there, the Chinese tank destroyer. Bounces the round that comes back. It's a nicely rounded turret. In fact, this is why the turrets of some of the later designs, such as the IS-3, were nicely rounded, because round turrets tend to bounce the shells much easier. I think we might be able to see where that shell... No, we can't see where the shell bounced off. It actually hit just next to the mantlet. You see that mark there? Next to the mantlet? Oh, enemy tank up on the heights. Oh, it's the Arty, M40, M43. He gets hit by the M40 with a shotgun. He's stunned at the moment, and he's lost some more hit points, 125. He's now basically a splash kill for any of the enemy Arty, and there's only 3 of them left. And so, yes, he could be taken out of the game. And there's one of the Artys right now, the Su-14-1, fires around in this direction, but he fires one back, and that means that so long as he stays alive, that's a brothers in arms for him. Okay, there's 2 more Arty around the corner. An FV-304 and an M40 M43. He's stopped for a moment because he doesn't know where they are. Now he can one-shot both of those Artys, no problem. The alpha damage to this gun is enough. And here comes the M40 M43. Lock on. Locks on. Checks behind. And there's your kill. Go for it. Oh, he ram kills him, and he saves the shell. He's firing an HE round, so he's now going after the FV-304, and there's the FV-304 fired at him, but he's in reload. Go for the shots. Oh, and the kill goes to the Hummel, but it means he has got a Pascucci's because he killed the M40, M43, and he got some spotting damage, and he survives the battle, so there's a BIA there as well. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats and see how well he got on. Oh my god, he got an ace tanker in the KV-3 for the first time in that game. He got the scrolls underneath, and you only get those the first time. He got a fire for effect, fighter, Kamikaze. Now the Kamikaze came because the M40, M43 is a tier 8 Arty, and he tried to ram him and died in the process, and so a higher tier vehicle died ramming his tank, and well, he's tier 7, that was tier 8, so he ends up with a Kamikaze, even though he survived the ram. And he also picked off a duelist for for killing 2 tanks who damaged him, and one of those was the M40 M43, and also a Hand of God for surviving the battle, having received damage from 4 different enemy vehicles. He got a Pascucci's medal. He killed 2 enemy Artys in that game, the M40, M43 and the SU-14-1. He also got a Brothers in Arms because he killed at least 3 tanks, and so did Tudin. And he also got the high caliber out of that one as well for dealing the most damage in the game. And his win rate from the game was 7,138. So let's have a look at the team score. Well, he was top of the table with 2,869 hit points of damage. The next high scorer was the ISU-122S, the premium tank destroyer on the enemy team with 2,554. And after that, it was Tudin with 2,168, and he managed to get 4 kills as well. When it came to kills, yes, they shared the top with that KV-2 on the enemy team. All have 4 kills apiece, and we can see that Tudin managed to get a Brothers in Arms, of course. And when it came to base XP, it's Brit on the NA, God bless USA, with 1,358 base experience points, 1,012 for Tudin, 981 for their Hummel. He fired 11 rounds, got 8 direct hits and 8 penetrations, damage of 2,869 hit points, of which 350 were at more than 300 meters. He actually damaged or received 11 hits from the enemy, 6 were penetrations, 4 non-penetrations, and 2 hits by way of splash damage as well. Block damage of 550 hit points in total. Spotted 5 enemy vehicles, damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 4, and did 965 hit points of damage assistance. On a free play account, he earned 38,723 credits from that game, and after repair, ammunition, resupply, consumables, and remember, he fired no premium ammo whatsoever because he just doesn't carry any, and he made a profit on a free play account of 18,182 credits. He received 2 bonds, one for getting the high caliber, and the other one was for getting the Pascucci's, and 1,358 base experience points. And there was no multiplier, so that's all the experience points he took away. And this battle took place during one of Zoe Balls' streams nights. Yes, REBRN, the clan that he belongs to, was founded by Zoe Balls, and she does stream on Twitch TV, so you can check that out sometimes. And occasionally she invites other people to join in Countdown, and looks like Tudin and Brit on the NA actually did join together, or tried to join together, platoon together, to enter the battle with Zoe, and unfortunately they must have ended up on their own in another battle, but it certainly worked out very well for both of them, so congratulations. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel please, and thanks for watching.